MRLG program at Chiang Mai University, where at the Regional Center for Social Science and Sustainable Development and in the Faculty of Social Sciences, there's a program on development studies that has a land specialization, which has come about through the support of MRLG. And it's my pleasure to facilitate this session with our presenter, our sole presenter, Duyen from Chau University. Before I start and introduce Duyen more fully, I'll just give a bit of a background on what the theme of the session is and how it relates to the key theme of this particular regional land forum, which is linking tenure issues with climate change challenges. And in this case, through the key question, the key program of payment for forest ecosystem services, which is what today's talk is about. This is a key to, I think, what Mike Dwyer in his keynote earlier on talked about, this nexus, the nexus between climate change and land, in the sense that the PFES, or the payment for forest ecosystem services, is about, on the one hand, identifying benefits that come through particular changes in the way in which land is used and managed and governed, and ways of securing or capturing those benefits and then bringing them back to those who are providing the benefits. So one of the really interesting questions when you talk about these schemes is identifying on both sides. On the one hand, identifying who as a collectivity is benefiting from, for example, expanded forest cover, carbon sequestration, mitigation of heat impacts of climate change, and so on. And we can see those benefits as being global or national or identified to a specific group of people. And on the other hand, identifying who is providing the benefits and therefore who should receive the benefits. And this question of who receives the benefits is then very closely tied to the question of tenure systems, who actually has the rights to the land, to access land, and who therefore should be receiving the benefits. But of course, these are very complicated questions, and they lead to all kinds of challenges. Today we'll be hearing about these challenges in the specific case of coastal areas, mangrove areas in the far south of Vietnam, in Cà. We're going to be hearing, as I said, from Chau Duyen, who's a lecturer and researcher at the School of Political Sciences, Social Sciences and Humanities at Chau University, and has been teaching there for some years now, following her successful master's program at Chiang Mai University. She works in a number of fields of research, including sustainable agriculture systems, policy impacts on agriculture and rural society, agriculture and environmental governance, and perhaps most significant for today's talk, on climate change and community resilience. So without further ado, please let me hand over to Duyen.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. To be honored to be here to present, this is a part of my thesis I do for my master degree at Chiang Mai University. Dr. Philip has mentioned before, to be honored to got the scholarship from MRG. Yes, and today I bring to the forum the topic about the community property right related to payment for forest ecosystem service in mangrove forest of Cà Mau province of Vietnam. Yeah, let I introduce a little bit about the background information about the payment for ecosystem service in Vietnam. The ecosystem service seems to be a potential solution, in the era of the climate adaptation. We also we also see at the first presentation of this forum, he mentioned about the solution of the climate change. It's also about the PFES. And Vietnam is one of the first countries in the Asian region to initiate the nationwide PFES mechanism in Vietnam, Chau Degree 99 in 2010. According to the three incentives, firstly, focusing on the environment aspect, the government wants to protect the forest and also associate with the ecology's function. And with the incentive from the social aspect, the government wants to reduce the poverty in the rural area to protect the forest and improve for the livelihood of the local people. And from the third incentive that it comes from the academic incentive, the government wants to utilize the sustainable resource from the private sector to have for the protect the forest and alleviate the funding from the state unit in terms of the environmental governance. And PFES, this is the kind of incentive the government want to adopt the PFES policy in Vietnam. And in my research, I focusing on the question like what is the community property right in designing and operation under the PFES policy. Yet I talked a bit about research in the Vietnam map, and we can see the red color to recognize this Gamma province with the southernmost province of Vietnam, occupied with the largest area of mangrove forest. And in my right hand side, this is the map of Viên An Đông commune, belong to district Ngọc Hiển district of Cà Mau province. The red color is in my research community. This area, this is mostly this is the mangrove forest, and under the allocation policy, yesterday we also had a session about the allocation policy already in Vietnam, and under the allocation policy, the mangrove forest in this area have been allocated to the household. We call the household like the forest recipient for 20-year contract. And the household, the forest recipient in this area, they doing the integrated extreme mangrove farming to pursue for their livelihood activity. I show you the picture of the integrated extreme mangrove forest in Viên An Đông commune. You see that I draw like the model of the stream, integrated stream mangrove forest. With the middle, that is the mangrove forest, and the water area, the local people, they usually grow shrimp, crab, and fish to supply for their livelihoods every day, and they sell to the market. In 2013, with the support from SNV, the NGO organization, with the private company that's called Minh Phú company, that is the seafood production company, and with the state unit, they established the PFES project with the pilot project in Viên An Đông commune. We say that payment for forest ecosystem service with the organic stream mangrove farming. Under this project, the project have the forest recipient, they get the criteria, they qualify the criteria about the organic stream mangrove farming they provided from the company. To have the forest recipient, they get this kind of the organic certificate. And Minh Phú company, they play the role of the service buyer. They will make the payment for the forest recipient. When they buy the stream from the household, they get the organic certificate and they sell to the international market. And Minh Phú company will pay the money we call the payment for forest ecosystem service. The payment make like 500,000 Vietnam đồng per hectare forest per year, and they will pay the right premium with 3 Vietnam đồng per kg of stream when they buy the stream from the forest recipient. With the household, they get the organic certificate. Yeah, I saw some picture about a mangrove forest and the farmer, they're growing shrimp. Yeah. And this is the kind of activity of the project. They provide the training for the forest recipient to help them to get knowledge about how doing the organic stream mangrove farming. And also they support for material to help the forest recipient to qualify some kind of the criteria of the project to get the organic certificate of organic stream farming. And I moved to talking about the finding of designing a stage of my research. In designing stage of PFES, in this designing stage, we see that I have the different level of consultation from the professional consultation, consultation in provincial and communal level. But the issue I find out here, like in the designing stage, just only city forest recipient, they have been invited to attend the meeting at the beginning compare with the total amount of household forest recipient in this area. That is 2,900 households. That means the number of the forest recipient they has been invited to the designing stage just a small number, and the rest the forest recipient, and when they did the interview with them, the forest recipients, some of them said that they did not get any information from designing stage of this project. So this means that the household, they lots of information about the project at the beginning, and they included in the designing stage of the project. And the finding in the operation stage of the project, I find out that more than 50% of the household they rejected from the PFES project by the Mangrove company. The reason of the household they have been rejected from the Mangrove company because they growing livestock, and they have the traditional legend, and the full household, they have the forest land size under 3 hectares. This criteria did not qualify the criteria of organic stream mangrove farming. That's why they make them could not be included in the project. But the thing I find out that when I do the in-depth interview with the forest recipient, they mentioned about at first I was invited to attend a meeting in Ozone Hotel, but when the project officially started, I know that my neighbor have invited to the training, but I was not. Later when when the other villager they received the stream for lava, I was curious and asked my group leader for reason why I was not invited to the training and have not received the payment. He said that I was rejected from the project. At this time, I did not know the reason, but later the group leader said that it was because I did not have the hygienic license. That means throughout the interview, I recognize that the forest recipient they include in the designing stage. However, when the operation stage, they has been rejected from the project, and they did not get the clear information. And the other finding I find out in the operation stage that Mangrove company they changed the way of payment. Like in designing stage, they promised with the different stakeholders that they will pay by cash. But however, in the operation stage, they pay by post lava stream. By changing of the way of the payment, this make the kind of the misunderstanding and disappointed of the forest recipient. Throughout the interview, I recognize I have some I have some evidence here, like for the vice chairman of Nhân Minh Forest Management Board. That means they are the state agency at the local area. They say that for the method of payment, when the projects were initiated, the company decided to pay by cash. But later in 2015, the payment were paid in Foslava stream. This means that also from the state unit, they also did not know about the changing of the way of payment of the company at the beginning. And the other forest recipient, when I do the interview with him, he said that the right of their first law is double the market right. How can the forest recipient they offer this? I thought that it's not feasible, and so I did not agree to participate. The evidence that we can see that the right of their post law is higher compared with the market right. That means the amount of the post law the forest recipient they receive will be later if the forest recipient they buy in the market. Yeah, and the other thing I interviewed with one woman, she said that the payment will make in December. At that time, I will completed the fourth post-lawa stocking stage already. I got the post-lawa ferment food company, but I did not know what I should do with his extra post-lawa, so I just put them into the pond. However, at the time, this is not suitable to stock more post-lawa, so I did not know how effective that was. And so we can see that they did a thing that the company, they just make the payment, but they did not care about the period, the suitable period to make for the farmer. Yeah, this is the thing I recognize from the interview. We can see that this is the kind of the misunderstanding and the unexpectation from the different stakeholders. They have the different expectation. I also have the in-depth interview with the representative from the company. He mentioned with me about the reason why they changed the way of making the payment. He said about because their stream phosphate, this is the organic stream phosphate, this is the kind of the criteria including in the organic stream mangrove farming. To get the certificate, the forest recipient, they need to grow with the organic stream phosphate. That's why the way they make changing the way of making the payment. However, we see that when they changing, but they did not inform to the forest recipient, they did not inform to the state unit, that make them feel that they get excluded from this process of operation state. Yes, and with the CAD-finding, I discussion on the community right of the forest recipient. Firstly, I talk about use right. Use right, this is according to CCOR and his colleagues, he find out that use right belongs, including direct benefit and indirect benefit. Direct benefit, that means the right to obtain a benefit that's directly derived from a resource. And indirect benefit is the right to obtain the indirect benefit associated with a resource. So we can find that the use right with the forest recipient, they get the direct benefit from selling shrimp, from selling crab, and they can have the timber from their mangrove forest. After 12 or 15 years, they can harvest, and they can share the benefit with the state unit. And under the PFES stream, they get more indirect benefit. That means they get the payment from the company. However, at the finding, I find out that they did not satisfy with the way of payment, also with the rate of payment also. They did not satisfy with the indirect benefit under the PFES stream. Continue with control right. Control right is including 4 particular right like management right, exclusion right, transaction right, and monitoring right. Yeah, from my research, I find out that forest recipients are limited in accessing the exclusion right and transaction right. This is exposure in the aspect of exclusion. The forest recipient, they have been excluded from the designing stage and related information of PFES, the evidence I mentioned before. They excluded from the making decision on the payment method and the right of the payment. And also the other limitation in terms of capacity, especially in the financial capacity, limit them in terms of exercise the transaction right, especially for the full household. They did not have the financial capacity to changing their condition to qualify with the organic criteria. Some evidence I find out from my interview from the forest recipient, they mentioned about I was not satisfied with the payment, but we did not have the channel to complain and present our idea. And the other forest recipient, he also mentioned about we just a farmer. We do not have the power to address our voice. And another farmer, he mentioned about how can we make the poor buy the hygienic license or make the cap for their livestock. They do not have the money to invest this thing. The support from project was just been given to the few households. Therefore, money for were excluded from the project in my group. So this is the evidence we can see that the forest recipient they has been excluded from the control right under the operation state of the PFES mechanism. And the last right, I talk about authoritative right. Authoritative right, including definition right and allocation right. Definition right, this is the right to define the seasonary space for exercise of the control right. Allocation right is the right to assign control right to a particular actor. And I find out that under the PFES pilot project in this research side, the definition right belongs to the Provincial People Committee and Minh Phú Company. And allocation right belongs to the Provincial People Committee. The Provincial People Committee, they have the right to allocate the forest land to the household under the allocation policy. And Minh Phú Company, they have the right to decide whether households are certified as or rejected from the PFES project. The evidence that I interviewed with some villagers, they mentioned about this project having chosen the household that can be accessed by the motorbike or boat. But my household in the remote area is difficult to reach. Thus, I was not invited to participate in the project. So I conclude that the forest recipient, they were not granted the authoritative right. Come to the conclusion in the community property right of the forest recipient under the PFES pilot project in Viên Dam Commune. In Cà Mau, I find out that the use right with the direct and indirect benefit just have been limited, and control right also limit, and authoritative right, totally the forest recipient, they have been excluded from this right. And after my the result, I also have some policy recommendation for the stakeholder involved in the PFES pilot project. Firstly, I think the rule of the forest recipient should be taken into account in each step of implementation of PFES stream. That means that confirm the designing stage of the project, where they can, the forest recipient, they can raising their voice, giving their idea, and sharing their condition to how to get them involved at the beginning of the project. And the second recommendation, I want to talk about the transparency information should be considered, because like in this project, the not transparency that make the forest recipient they very unsatisfied, and they seem to be feel that they excluded from the project at the beginning. So I think that transparency information, how different channel, different meeting, and different way of sharing information should be make the forest recipient they have more incentive to participate in the project in the future. And the third recommendation, I talk about the issue of the poor should be considered by the state unit, because like the big issue of the people from the people under this project, this means the forest recipient, they just smallholder. This means the smallholder, have the less land, so they could not qualify about the farm side according to the organic stream farming. So they are quite difficult to adapt this kind of the criteria. Also, they don't have the financial capacity to invest for the other condition to qualify for the organic stream farming. The last thing I want to, the last idea I want to talk about, the coordination and sharing among the actors should be fostered. This means that the different stakeholders, they should understand together, understand about their incentive, their capacity, their power, and how they can work together. This is the important thing they should be considered. Yeah, this comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to receive the question and comment from all of valuable audience here. Thank you.
Thank you, Duyen, for a very clear and interesting, well-conceptualized presentation. Also, one that shows the difficulty in and the challenges in PFES programs, payment for ecosystem services programs. That really the devil is in the detail. When you start to look at the detail of how this operates, it raises many questions. One of the messages I get from this is that the implementation has been very patchy, and there's been some inbuilt biases against the poor towards better off farmers, I guess, and also against those with less access to information. I think it's also interesting to look at the context of the place where you're working, which, as having visited and the area, I remember it as a place where people are living in a very kind of individualized existence. They're living not in a tightly knit community, but people are living close to their own farms and canals with very limited information flow, social interaction, and so on, which adds an extra challenge. And in terms of the implementation of a complicated scheme like this, maybe something else to consider. It seemed to me, if I could just recap a bit, that there were two main ecosystem services that were being paid for through the premium price on shrimp that were certified. One was the fact of production in using organic methods, and the other was maintenance of a certain area of mangrove forest cover. Is that correct? That those are the two main ecosystem services that the farmers were being paid to provide?
Yeah. Yeah, like I talk about the forest recipient here, they doing the integrated stream farming. This is they drawing stream, drawing graph under the mangrove forest. And when the PFES stream they come, they have the local people, they follow the criteria of organic stream farming. They have them like observe the quality of the water, and how they protect for the environment around their pond. Yeah, and the other criteria about the farm side, about the percentage of the pond, and the other criteria about the chemical they use for their pond. They have them after they training for them to get rid with this criteria to help them to get their organic certificate. Yeah, and if the household they get this kind of the organic certificate, they turn into the service provider. And then get paid from the company, and the Minh Phú company play the role of the service buyer. Yeah.
And is this certificate provided by the company, by the Minh Phú company, or is it provided by the local authorities?
The organic certificate they provided from the international organization that invited from Minh Phú company, because Minh Phú company they come from their economic sector. They have the power to, they want to do with the international market that they have the organic farm side. and they invite the third party from the organization. They come to local area. They check the condition of the household. Do they qualify with the criteria of them? And they issue the certificate for the household.
Right.
Yeah.
I was also interested that you said that the poor households did not qualify because they could not, they didn't have enough mangroves on their land. Is the criterion that they have to have a certain area of mangroves, or is it a certain percentage of their land that has to be mangroves rather than shrimp ponds that qualifies them?
Yeah, they have like criteria that the forest recipient, they keep 40% of the forest in their forest area, in their forest land. Should be the 40% of the forest, 40%.
So if a very poor farmer has only, say, half a hectare, but they still keep 40% of that as forest land, do they qualify?
Yeah, some household, if they have the big land, they can qualify. But for the household, like they just have under 3 hectares, the forest land, they cannot keep this percentage because because the forest, the forest recipient here, they depend on the stream, interactive stream farming. If they keep the forest, the bigger percentage, they could not like qualify for their livelihood activity. Yeah, and so for some household, if they have less land, they cannot qualify with the criteria of the organic. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, before I open up to questions from the floor, I've got one sort of broader question, and that is, it always seemed to me very interesting that Vietnam is so far ahead of other countries in the region in the payment for ecosystem services. I think it started off with hydroelectric companies paying a certain amount for watershed protection, and then it's expanded to many other activities, many other areas. In a country which has, well, now 30 or 40 years of experience as a market economy, but it's not the country with the longest experience of a market economy in this region. Why do you think the Vietnamese government has put in so much more effort and thinking into PFES than other countries in the region?
Yes, from my point of view, I think that's like this is very lucky that I think that for the operation of the PFES stream, this is very important role of the private sector. And in Vietnam, like the private sector, they have like the kind of incentive to participate with the government in the process of implement the PFES mechanism in Vietnam. I think this the kind of the motivation I have for the implementation of PFES stream can be nationwide in Vietnam. Yeah. I think this is important from the side of the private community, voluntary to attend this kind of policy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have about 20 minutes for questions and discussion, so please feel free to, Christian. Is the company getting some payment from international agency, international funds? I mean, is Munfu getting some payment for their role?
Actually, for this point, when I do the interview with the company, like because like they cannot say, I also asking about do they have they get any their motivation, any incentive from the international organization to get involved in this kind of project. They said that because they come from the discipline of business. And when they have the area of doing the organic stream farming, they can easier to sell their stream to the international market, and their rights will be getting better. Yeah, this is the kind of incentive have them to more motivate to participate in the mechanism of PFES stream in Vietnam. Yeah.
So just to clarify then, Mingfu provides the post-larvae, provides the baby shrimp, and it also buys the shrimp and then markets it internationally. Does it buy both organic and inorganic shrimp and sell them differently, or does it only buy the organic shrimp?
Yeah, actually, Manfu company, this is the big seafood production company in Vietnam. They buy on. This is the stream outside the project, also inside the project they will buy. But they have the differences, like they mentioned about if the farmer they get the organic certificate, they will buy with the higher rate compared with the how horn they did not get this kind of certificate. Yeah.
Sorry, and then Mike. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much. Very interesting topic. I have two questions. I keep very brief. First question is, have you looked in the analysis on comparison between the people who engage in the company, but they get paid only 10% of the regular price, if I understand correctly. And if they go fully, don't engage, is that 10% very motivate them to engage in the project? That's one thing. And the second one is, because poor people quite exclude, I would say, from the project, as a few already mentioned, is there any intervention from the local authority to take like helping the farmer from the poor to get into that project? Thanks.
Thank you for your question. The first question you asking about how the incentive come from the forest recipient is to join the project with the 10%, just the difference is with 10% of the payment, right? Yeah. Actually, the forest recipient, when they attend the project, pilot project for PFES stream in this area, they attend a project from the different incentive, because attend the project they can get involved in the training of the project. They get the training like I mentioned before, like they training about the way to observe the quality of the water. They observe about the disease emerging on the stream. This means they have the other benefit when they attend this project. And the other thing, like the local people, because they mostly depend on the livelihood by selling shrimp, and so they see that if they get more the benefit from the selling shrimp, they see the kind of incentive help them to involve in the project. But the thing that like the forest recipient, they also like sometimes they also a number of forest recipient, when I did an interview with them, they also said that some of them, they say that Manfu company, they buy the stream from the organic stream. The household, they get the organic certificate, and the household, they did not get the certificate, sometimes the same right. Yeah, and that's the reason they respond that's the reason they just sell for the other buyer. Yeah, they did not consider they sell to the Manfu company or not. Yeah. And the second question you asking about, do the government, the state unit, do they have any activity, any support to have the poor household so far? According to my research side, I recognize that the government, because like the poor household, they also have the helping from the government already. However, like sometimes the support from the government that could not cover for all the criteria related to the organic stream farming. That's the reason why some the full household, they could not qualify the organic stream farming. That's the reason they excluded from the project. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the presentation. At the beginning of your talk, you actually answered the question I'm about to ask, but I didn't catch it. When we try to make sense of and evaluate PES projects like this, we're already talking about the direct benefits versus the co-benefits or the indirect benefits. So can you just summarize the amount of money that, I know the payments are in the form of shrimp, right? But how much money is the equivalent payment per month, per household, per year? I'm trying to get a sense of the size of the payment relative to, say, an annual household average income.
Yeah. They pay like, let's account like from 5,100 Việt Nam đồng per hectare per year. Just mean just only 25 US dollar per hectare forest per year.
And how much roughly does one household control? How many hectares?
Usually the household in this area, like they have 4, they have 5 hectare forest land.
So maybe $100 per year.
Yeah, this
give or
means
take.
not much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not much.
Thank you. I understand that your study was conducted around 2018, 2019, is that?
Yeah, I did my research in 2019.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my question is that did you or any of your colleagues go back to that area to see 5 years later what are the status of this smallholder we engage in this eco-labeled shrimp farming? And is there any kind of impact study and also in terms of the social improvement for the family who engage in the project? Thank you.
I will answer. I will answer first. Yeah. Actually, like recently my college, so far we do not have this cap research like you mentioned, but I also update information from the local area before I come to this forum. Yes, so far in my research area, now they have 3 companies. They doing the payment in this firm for the forest recipient here. They also confirm the Gamimed company, Minh Phú company, and the other company, that's the Casimed company. They did also the seafood production company, the big seafood production company in Vietnam. And I also asking the vice chairman of the forest management board in this area. He said that the local people, they also the number of the forest recipient, they also just 50% or more than 50% of the forest recipient they include in this project so far. Because like he also said that the forest recipient, they also could not qualify some criteria from the company, and that's the reason why they did not include in the payment for the forest ecosystem service so far. Yeah, thank you for your question.
Well, thanks a lot. Before I raise my question, I'd like to respond to the question from Michael concerning the rate of payment for forest environmental services. 500,000 per hectare is not much, but it's close to average for the whole country. In the whole country, that would be around 700 to 800. In some cases, you can have up to $100, which is around 2-3 million per hectare, but that's very rare. It's often in the location where you have a lot of hydropower plants or tourist company. Now, in this case, it's very special because to be very honest, this is one of the first time I heard about payment for forest environmental services outside of hydropower plant or water resource company. This is a very interesting case. So I have a lot, and in that case, you have a lot of co-benefits. So that $500 or $17-18 per hectare, although may not seem a lot comparing to other PFES rates, it may mean a lot for these farmers because they also have other co-benefits from the forest resources. And that need also to be explored as well, because you mentioned here shrimp, and I guess would be all kind of aquaculture farmings there that the farmers can get benefit from. That is also a huge benefit, co-benefit that you can get from the forest. Now, my question, back to the title of the presentation. You are presenting about community property rights. To be very honest, I'm a little bit confused whether you are talking about the jure rights or de facto rights. It's not very clear you are talking about rights defined by law or rights in practice. I think it needs to be clearly stated what is mentioned by law that the farmers are allowed or entitled to have, and what exactly they can practice in reality. And also by what you are presenting, I understand that you are talking about forest contracting because the farmers get the forest from the Forest Protection and Management Board rather than from the local authorities. Allocation is where you get the certificate from the local authority. So in this case, it is forest contracting. So there's the bundle of rights is a lot less when you got allocated. And also the benefit from PFES is also 10%, or to be honest, exact 9% less by law, because if you have the full rights to the forest, you are entitled to get 90% of the payment that the buyers pay. And if you don't have that right, you get it via a forest owner company, you had 81%. So it's 9% less of benefit. So that's also another difference between benefits that you have as a forest owner or as only a forest contractor. So that term needs to be very clearly stated. Otherwise, it's confusing whether you are talking about forest owners, the one who were allocated with the forest by local authority, or the forest contractee who received the forest through forest contract process with the government agency. Another question, if I could ask, is also who defines that 500,000? Usually, it's the government regulation. I don't know much about this case, so I'm curious about who defines that. Is it really a kind of market price where the buyers is negotiating with the seller? Or is it again a kind of government control where you say, okay, 500 per hectare, flat rate? Well, that would be very interesting, another interesting part of it. And another thing I would also be very curious is about the performance-based payment. Vietnam PFES is not at all performance-based payment. And I guess this is also the case. So that 500 is paid regardless of how well the forest is protected or not. It's not really mentioned there, but it would also be interesting to hear from you on that as well. That would be it for me now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very sorry, but I think...
Yeah,
Before you answer, I want to thank you very much for the very interesting case, because similar to Dr. Tan has said, I study PFES a lot, but it's very surprising. If we can have some kind of payment, it's very interesting. But from my understanding, we have to understand the key concept. The forest owner, maybe forest is the protection mangrove forest management board. The local people, many are household, they are contractor. So the 500, as far as I understand, is a payment for the neighbor of construction, not payment of forest environment service. So meaningful seafood company, they are B2C business. They do sign the contract, they support the local farmer to do the certification for the certification to get that. So 500 is not the PFES, because Vietnam, we still do not yet have such kind of policy. It is a payment for labor of contract for protection, payment by the government through the Forest Management Board. Because here we can very carefully think about the poor people are exclusive from the process. Under the policy, means that under the model of the stream and mangrove system, our government says that any household who would like to have to meet the demand about 40% of mangrove and 60% of keeping the forest are allowed to come to this. If the household who cut a lot of forests to do stream farm, it will be excluded. So we have to carefully, what if they are poor or not? Okay? It's people who are not meeting the criteria of keeping the forest and the water body on the percentage 40 or 60, they are not excluded. So I surprising, but I don't know if it's exactly the seafood company pay for this. I think they pay the premium price for buying the shrimp, which have a certified from the certification body. I think it's okay. But 500, if it is the PFES, it's will be very interesting. Yeah. For once, as I understand, I don't know if it's okay or not. But from as far as I know, with 20 years research, I think maybe it could be very interesting. Yeah.
Thanks for your contributions. I think because we're really running out of time, let's take one more question. I think you had a question here, and then perhaps you can address all three together before we finish. Is that okay? Yeah.
Just.
Can we just maybe take one more?
I try to speak quick. First of all, I was with SNV at the time that the project taken place in 12 and 13. And that's what we call M&M project, just mangrove to market. So that project largely focused on having the organic stream exported to the international market with a higher price. And it's not only about PFES. And I know, like Minh Phu, that's one of the companies who got benefit from that project, guiding them how to really to do the organic stream farming. So that's why they have some connection. I mean, the project really supported for such companies to do. So I wonder about what you mentioned about the PFES right now. I don't know if that's the initiative of the Minh Phu companies or that's actually following the national scheme of the PFES. So that is really something, I mean, it's different. So yeah, very similar to Tân and also Dr. Duyen also said, if we follow the contract, because the households get the land, forest land from the contracting with the management board. So that's really different with the forest land allocation applied at the national level. So all of the rights of that, if following the contract, should be following the terms and in the contract. So when we discuss further about what different kinds of the rights, I think we have to make it very clearly about that. Another point is about how many, I don't know about the representatives of your interview respondents. Of that, and also another thing is that you mentioned particular names of the different people who answer the question whether or not that should be shown in that way. Yeah. Okay. So yes, that's all my questions and comments.
To just briefly respond to those, we are nearly out of time.
Yeah, just I catch up some the idea and I respond. Firstly, the point is like. The idea of the the past, they come from which actor come from. This means when I did the interview with the representative from the Department of Forestry, he also mentioned about Mangroves. They follow the national decree of 99 to try to apply the PFES stream in the round. So they're asking for the help from the NGO organization, like you mentioned about the SNV, that's including in the project of MAM project. This is correct. And at that time, the SNV also they raising the idea of having the involvement of the private company and Minh Phu company. This is the one company that voluntary to involve in this project. And from Another question about like the rate of the payments. Who decide with the amount of the payment, like 500,000 Vietnam dong per hectare per year. That also because like the Minh Phú company, this is the private company, they voluntary to attend. They also voluntary to raising the idea of the amount of payment, because it depends on their ability to make the payment for the forest recipients. So they also confirm the private company. Yeah, they just like make some the key point.
Okay, thanks. Clearly, this is something which we could go on for another half hour or hour, and there's a great deal of expertise in this room on this. I'm afraid we do have to finish right now. It's just on 5 o'clock now. But I'd like to thank Duyen very much indeed for the presentation, and indeed from all the questions and observations from the audience. So.